And welcome, guys, back to another episode here, season 3 of the Hot 16's podcast with your host, PvP. We're out here at the Exhibit Art and Fashion Gallery and Apparel, too. Always remember, too, we do art walks at the beginning of every month here, first Friday of every month, hosted by me. So if you can't get enough of me right here, you can come see me live in person every first Friday night in downtown Fullerton here at the Exhibit Art Gallery. But today's episode is we're kind of giving back to the people that help run Exhibit and the people involved here at the art gallery and have given me the opportunity to be the host of their art walks. And it was kind of interesting how I came to be the host. I just decided to show up for the first one this year. And I was approached by the owner, and he said, "Hey, PvP, would you like to do the hosting and the announcing?" And I was like, you know what? I've never done anything like that, but I'm willing to try it, and let's see how I feel about it. Maybe this can transpire to something more than just, a single-time thing. And it was great, and they asked me to come back, and I'm still doing it, and we have art walks all throughout the year, so I would love to meet some new faces. So without further ado, today's guest is
Nohemi Ramos.
Okay, she just hit me with it. I didn't want to disrespect the culture there, but we have Miss Nohemi here today. She's actually one of the visionaries behind the art walks, and she collabs with another guest we have on this season, Nancy G. Shout out Nancy. And they bring all of the visions brought together and display them all and get everything looking pretty much nice for you guys to have an amazing night for the opening of the exhibit for the month. And then also they are open, so come, the art is here throughout the month. And without further ado, guys, let's introduce Miss Nohemi to the show. Say hello.
Hello.
She's trying to get comfortable right now.
I know. I got like crap.
You know what's crazy? You know what's crazy about this? Now I'm thinking, because this couch yesterday when we had set this up, we only had one of the legs on.
I feel so short.
And you're like, people don't.
My legs don't reach the ground.
No, you're good, because I was like, well, what if we just take all the legs off just to get rid of that, because then they'll be flat. But like, oh, people don't like a low profile. But now I'm sitting here. But hey, we got the pink shirt. We're rocking this color today for this episode. So we got pink for Nohemi, so we could match a little. Yeah, we can match a little bit, So we're out here. But Miss Nohemi, how are you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm doing great. We're out here running these episodes right now. We've got a lot of people coming through, a lot of lovely faces and stuff. So I'm really excited that we get to talk to you and get to learn the world of Nohemi a little bit. So Miss Nohemi, where do you reside from?
I was raised in Santa Ana, California. I actually have my art studio there. But I was born in Michoacan, Mexico.
Oh,
it's a state in
Mexico. Michoacan. I actually, where I'm from up north in California, about 90%, if not all of the people of Hispanic descent in my little town, they're all families from Michoacan. So that's actually, I'm very familiar with the state. So that's awesome. I didn't know that. So you're born in Mexico.
Yeah.
So how long did you live in Mexico before you came to the States?
I'm like...
No, you're fine. Yeah.
So I was born in Mexico, and when I was 5, I came here to the United States, and then I was raised here in Santa Ana, and I currently live in Anaheim.
For sure. And how long have you been in the States?
I forget how old I am. I just turned 29, so
24 years then?
24.
For sure. Awesome. And where did you go to school at here in Orange County? Did you go to Santa Ana?
Yeah, Santa Ana.
So what's this? There's modern day there, right? Isn't that big school there? The big football schools in Santa Ana?
Yeah, that's not us.
Well, no, I know that.
I was in the ghetto.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Hey, it's Santana. Shout out to Zaymar every time. Yeah. That's for you. Right there.
I can't.
Oh no, you're good. Yeah. Well, we shout out Cyanide over here on the tech. We got, he keeps us right. So we're doing good though. Everything's all right. Sweet. Run it. But so you were born in Michoacan, and so when you got into school, what got you into art? Because right behind us, we have actually one of her pieces right here. So with her art, as you can see, this is part of our set for the season, and with everything that we did with our interviews, our post shows, get a little zoom. Okay. So right here, do you want to talk about this piece a little bit, or what?
This one?
Yeah. So what's the name of this piece right here?
Well, I actually had my first solo art exhibition a year and a half, maybe 2 years ago. I can't recall. And just the top portion was part of my show.
Okay.
So for this show for exhibit, I decided to do a base for it.
Okay.
So I kind of just got it going, and so now it's like one entire piece. But it's all basically made up of all natural matter except for like foam and the glue.
Yeah.
But other than that, everything is all the roses, all of the moss, all of the different mushrooms, pine cones, everything that I have there.
You went and handpicked and found yourself.
Yeah. So all of the flowers, like I hand dried all of the flowers and everything like. So I preserve everything.
How much time do you have in this piece right now? Because I mean,
oh god.
because well, I mean, I just looking at a lot of the detail, especially with the rose petals and everything. I mean, it looks like there's a lot of like scrunched up stuff. I mean, letting it set, and you can only go so far. Like, how long do you have into this piece?
Okay, so what happens is that I do a lot of art, so I do photography, I do some video work, I do a little bit of everything.
Yeah.
But when it comes to like work with like fresh flowers that I have to preserve and stuff,
Yeah.
most of the time it takes anywhere from a month or 5 months in order for everything to preserve and then able to have all of that ready in order to make it.
So is this like a 6-month-old piece? You would
more.
Year?
Yeah, like some of the roses that I had there and the hydrangeas, everything that I had there, I had already like basically piling up, drying for at least a year.
That is absolutely insane. Because I was like, we had used for the post-show interviews for the festival last weekend. We just used it as background. And I remember when we were moving it, I was like, I think we should be a little careful, and we were. But I was thinking to myself, I'm like, there's a lot of time into this. And it's awesome. It's like, it's very emotional. Like, I kind of, when I see the piece, it's almost like it resembling almost to me, like heartbreak. Like almost like a bride or something, like her husband left her on her wedding day, and like all the love and the petals have like dried out, and like it's almost like the ones that fell, like it almost resembles more the story, because you're like, what happened here? And I was like, oh, that's just the energy of your piece.
Yeah. Normally, like if I were to describe it, like what it is, you'd think it would be like something really girly and just kind of like cliche or kind of like a floral arrangement kind of, but like all of the like thought that goes into it and like design I go into a lot more like whimsical.
Yeah.
So like the top piece itself is it's actually like 2 years. So like the whole top dress is already like 2 years old.
Wow.
So the fact that like they're such delicate little things that you touch them, they crumble.
Yeah.
And you look at it and you're like, people will tell me like, I'm scared to like, it looks so beautiful, but I'm scared to like even like breathe on it. And I'm like, this is too.
Yeah.
Like it's already.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we both were, but I mean, we were cautious, but it was just like when we were putting that together, we had his eye with it. He's like, man, this is like, use these chairs, and we just kind of positioned them. It came out well. You'll see. I'll show you after. I have a video to show you, the Afro video, the interview with the main headliner, and it's great, captivating.
I saw that. All the shows I've been seeing, like my pieces in the background. It's been here for almost 2 months. Yeah, it's almost gonna be I've definitely months. So this is the longest piece I've had here.
Oh jeez. Got to stay up. Got the mate here. Shout out mate. No, I've had a few pieces come through here, and you guys actually gave me, back when Exhibit was still at the other place.
Yeah.
That's when I started there. I remember that was my first thing, and then now we got the Lucicity show. I'm doing one piece for that. Thought I was gonna get 3, but I put a little too much thought into one. And I'm like, I want to make sure I get it done. But that's a part of art, like art can draw you in. And how long have you been an artist?
I think that I've been making art in some way or another since I was like a little girl. But
did you have influence, like your mother, your family?
Actually, yes. My mom would she would help us like make these art projects sometimes. Yeah, like some little crafts. Like in our elementary school.
Definitely.
But I just ran with it. I've always just been like very creative, so I always jump from like one discipline to another, one medium to another. So my primarily is photography, like what I love to do is photography.
You have a major in that, or?
Oh yeah.
So you went to school. Where did you go to college at?
Okay, so I went to Santa Ana College, and I got my AA in art history and studio art with in photography.
There you go. And that's all you need. You can go places with that.
Yeah, but then I transferred over to Cal State Long Beach, and I got my bachelor's of fine art.
There you go. Awesome. So that's the dirt bags, right? Isn't that what's their mascot? Long Beach. Isn't it Greg or Cyanide? Really quick.
I was there for forever, and I don't even know.
If you could pull up the mascot for Long Beach, she's an alumni. I think it's a Dirtbags. I'm not even just. I'm pretty sure
it might be
right.
Might be.
Yeah, let's get this pulled up here.
I can't even tell you. I never went to any of the sports
Long Beach State
for
mascot
Long Beach or anything like that.
Is it? I mean, I could.
Is that?
They changed it. Oh, look at in August 2020.
Yeah.
I mean, the old one. Like so that's the new one. LB.
Long Beach.
Okay.
Makes sense. But that's new. When I graduated, they.
But I've always heard Prospector Pete.
Oh yeah.
With the 49er nickname in history. Hey, yes. Shout out 49ers. Shout out the Bay Area right there. Let's go. Prospector Pete. Well, I don't know the reason I'm saying that because I remember there was a golfer that lost all his sponsorships and on the PGA Tour. And so when you play on the PGA Tour, you have to have a hat. It's part of your uniform. So he wore a Long Beach State hat. And when I was younger, my dad was like, oh, that's a Dirtbags. And I was like, what? So
I think I did hear that.
It's like I think it's just like a nickname, but it's part of, I think, like if you go to Long Beach and say that, like people know what you're talking about. But that's how I remember or learned about Long Beach State, actually. And it was weird because at that time when I learned about it, I always thought like there was only a few schools. Like you had the UC system growing up.
Oh, yeah.
And UCLA and USC because you see it on sports and stuff like that. Yeah. So like, that's cool though. So do you have any aspirations to further your education to a master's degree?
At some point I did want to pursue a master's degree and go into teaching, but very quickly you realize it's just not worth it. It's not the move for me. I think when I was younger, I kind of thought, you know what, maybe I'll be a photography teacher or, but in college or university. But once you actually get to university and then you start seeing all these classes and you kind of start seeing the world more for what it is versus what you want it to be, you realize
the general realization.
Yes, you realize like, hey, do I really want to go a minimum of $25,000 to $1,000 in debt to get a master's degree?
No.
And then not even be able to get a job. And I had so many wonderful teachers at Long Beach, and they were struggling.
Yes.
To get classes. Like super wonderful teacher, Mr. Bryce. Shout out to Mr. Bryce.
Hey.
Yeah, I think he was teaching at Long Beach, but he was also teaching in a community college school here in Orange. I think
just to make ends meet.
Well, I didn't. I'm assuming, but just the fact that you have to like Long Beach and then all the way in Orange County, and then like juggle those two different schools just to like have enough classes, kind of just gave me the perspective of like. This is already like the third teacher that I've seen that has already like told me basically like, hey, I had another teacher who was like, hey, I work in 3 different schools, and isn't
that like a conflict of interest though?
No,
or it's not,
because it's literally like one. I think she was teaching.
We're good.
I know.
Yeah, sorry for the background noise, everybody. We're out here at Exhibit, so we got an active train station behind the building. But shout out to Exhibit for letting us use the building. The train just brings class to this whole aura of every.
A little bit of spice.
Yeah, a little bit of spice. But hey, we're out here doing our thing.
So basically, like I had another teacher who was teaching in like 2 different schools. I think one was like LA and one was in Orange County, and I just couldn't fathom like. You're really driving all the way to LA and then coming back and then driving all the way to Orange County and then juggling these 2 schools, a total of 2-3 classes. Like,
and it's
that's
like
insane.
Well, then you're losing money on. I mean, how much does a teacher make plus your drive time and like all of that? Like to me, like that's crazy. Like the most I've ever done for a job, I guess you could say driving. It was when I worked in Vernon. I mean, it's not still far. I'm in Norwalk, but still, like, that was my first commute over 30 minutes. And then, coming back on the 5 was a fucking just hour and 15 minutes for something that should take 20 minutes. And I was like, I'm not about this. Like, and you know, those were other reasons to start my own way with Hot 16s. And like, I don't want to do this for the rest of my life. Like, I don't want to wake up pissed off and, you know, regret like, or hate going in and hating my job. Like, do you have a current job right now? Are you just selling photography?
Yeah, so I'm a private contractor for a boudoir studio in Rancho Margarita. Okay. So that's what I call like my
job.
That's like my job.
Uh-huh.
And then apart from that, I have my own studio in downtown Santa Ana. So I do a little bit of everything. Sometimes I do custom works.
Studios are goals, though. That's shout out to you to have your own studio, because obviously we're here. We aspire to be in our own. Just to have, you know, your own thing where you could just leave everything.
Oh yeah.
Because like I could tell you, even with my art, you know, you've seen my paintings. I mean, they're so easy to make, so you can make a lot of them quick. So at one point I had like fucking 63 fucking frame paintings, and I mean they're in my living room, they're in my bedroom, they're on the fucking kitchen table, and then you know you get the fiance, hey. What are you doing here?
I'm tripping over here.
Yeah, or I don't want to break this, you know. But you know, but it's just like that's where I want to do so much, but I also have to learn in time things are appropriate. So I've kind of cut back on the painting. I started just handing them out. I was like, here you go.
Yeah.
I mean, but for me though, it's so inexpensive because if you really, I'll break it down for me. Like I'm a giver. End of the day. Like I could say this, like off the initial those 60 that I made, I've made my money back.
Yeah.
I'm a businessman at the end. Like even with my show, I made a little bit of money. Yeah, I made profit, but I wasn't like, oh, I want to make $2,500 or I made a couple $100. Cool. And then that's what I used to get all of this finalized, you know, but then from here, there's more monetization, blah, 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 et cetera, et cetera. But like with your art, I always have a hard time with this, you know, take it with a grain of salt, how they always tell you. But when people like say you put a price on something, you know, and then they really depreciate what they think it's worth versus what you think it's worth. How did you deal with that when you were first starting to sell your pieces? Like when someone say you wanted $250 and I'll give you $10 or $20, right?
Oh no. I think like some of my pieces are okay. Again, like when it comes to photography, where like I take and I could just print another picture, and I have to have like a certain set of like for my exhibition, like I had a total X amount of pictures I had on display, and then if you wanted a copy, it was like an 8x10, and I found. And then once they sold out, then I didn't make any.
Exactly.
But that's, you know, again, that's just whatever it costs for you to print out, and obviously really high quality.
Yeah, digital.
But when it comes to, you know, something like this, like
it's one of one. Yeah,
it's one of one. And they when I had the show, they asked me like, are you selling it? Like, how much is it? And I was like, no, I can't sell. I can't sell it because it's one of one. But also, like, if I were to sell it,
it'd be a lot.
It would be like a lot. Like just the amount of time. And now that it has like the bottom piece, which I'm still gonna keep like building onto, and I work to do and you know whatever, right? Yeah. But just the amount of like material that goes into it.
Yeah.
Just the cost of the flowers alone.
So are these flowers like, do you go out and buy them, or do you go to rose gardens, or do you like get them from the flower vendors like on the street?
I think it's a little bit of everything. So I just like collect flowers as I go. Some of them are for my garden.
Okay.
Some of them for my mom's garden. Like the roses, like I bought, or like my husband, like he gave me some Valentine's Day, so I like collect all of those and dry all of those. So just I keep collecting them and then drying them. But like I said, just the flowers alone on the amount of money for like a dozen roses. You know what I'm saying? Like
I buy my lady
like
roses.
$50.
Yeah.
3 hydrangeas is like $, and I think I use 20. You know, like it's
priceless.
Yeah.
Like, that's how I feel with a couple of pieces I've displayed here. I did the one show. What was it? What was the theme for January?
should know this.
Yeah.
That's so bad.
But I it was the first one I remember.
But I know what it is. If you just tell me what it looks like, I already
Yeah,
know
so
what it
it's
is.
the Milky Way one that I have that's got the purple and the white and the
Oh,
white.
you had the set of 3.
Yeah,
Set of 4.
the depth, the 16 by 20 with the inch deep profile. Those ones are more expensive because I put on the bigger canvases, I put more concept and art and like theory into it. And so I sell them for $1,000 because I have sold one before at that. So I was like, okay, like I can get this.
Yeah.
And then, you know, it happened quick. So then I rode with that. And then like I had someone offer me like $50. That's why my question, I was like, what do you do in that instance where like you have people that, you know?
I've only had one person kind of give me an offer that was lower than what I was asking for, but it wasn't like ridiculously lower. It was just a little lower. So I was like, you know what? Who cares? But again, that's only happened once. And at the end of the day, like honestly, like it's a piece like and you put I would rather keep it.
Yeah.
Like I wouldn't want to sell it.
Yeah, see, that's the thing where I'm
Like,
at.
I just can't let it go. Like if you're gonna want to offer me $50 for something that
I know is worth way more.
yeah, or that just the materials alone cost more than $50, then I just like I can't sell it to you at like a negative profit.
Exactly.
I'd rather not.
See, that's where I was mentioning like when I'm giving this shit away now, it's just because like it's not that I'm over it. I just get to a point where it doesn't hold value to me.
Depends on basically like
Mood.
your train of thought. Like you said, you had 60. It was more like a craft. Like,
yeah.
Once you get the Milky Way ones, you
Yeah.
put effort, you put thought.
Yeah.
You know, you had a concept.
Yeah.
All of that is much different than what I do for like. I also vend sometimes too, or also do like. And the stuff I do for fun, mind selling it like a lot cheaper than what I do for like a piece.
I've bought a lot of pieces. I've gone to a few shows and I've supported some artists, and usually they'll be like, "Well, fuck, you bought that. I'll throw you in another one for like an extra $10." I'm like, but I've gotten some really, really, really crazy, outrageous like stuff like for great prices. So I mean, I'm starting to finally collect pieces. Really keen to the one you guys who did the skateboard.
This show actually is
that's
the one
Hands
Hands
Up.
Up gallery.
I should
put
know
together.
that. Look at the host of
Yes.
Oh. Well, it's all good. Anyhow, there's a skateboard back there that's badassly painted. But my theory was I do my pours. I want to actually sell my pours on decks to skate. And they can actually go and skate a PvP deck. You know, I mean,
we just had some other skateboard for our February obsession show. And it was like,
yeah, I've been seeing it trend, and like I have a deep history in the skating community. My father, he original founder of Thrasher magazine, so I have great influence from my dad just in the whole skate community, where like a lot of my like cultures kind of stem like punk, like, you know, just like expressing yourself, not giving a fuck what the other people think, like we're gonna do this, you know. And so that's where I was like, man, like if I could, you know, go get say 5 or 10 blank decks for, you know, say a couple $100. I mean, I have all the paint, you know, tape them off, seal them, and then, you know, put your little PvP one of whatever. And then, you know, you make that clear though, like, hey, there's only 8 of these and every one is different, you know. And I mean, shit, I've bought skateboard decks for $80. You know, I could sell them for, you know, 100. I mean, it's custom. It's not your continual print, so it holds that value. So do you ever, instead of your photos, say someone saw some work you did, have you ever re-rendered it or remade it, aside from like multiple prints of like photography? Or have you had taken ideas from the past, like say you did an art piece, you just put a twist on it and it kind of resembled each other in the same way? Yeah.
So in that sense, yes. Also like I like also do like when I vend stuff, I also do like framed butterflies, so they're like eyes.
Yeah, that's really badass.
Yeah, and then they're like in the gold frame. So when I would go to vend, I would have like done every time I would go vend. So the next time I would go vend, it'd be like another different butterfly with another like frame. But again, they're all different.
Yeah.
Each butterfly
My
is different.
my
each
favorite my
range.
favorite butterfly is the monarch butterfly, just because in Santa Cruz that's where they migrate to out there. And so if you knew that, every year, once a year, they migrate all the way down
Yeah.
from Canada and they come to the same spot in Santa Cruz in the eucalyptus trees. This is actually a funny story I'll share. So me and my friend Adam, he was going to surf, and there was this old lady. Shout out that lady, man. She was so sweet, so nice. I hope you're doing well. Um, and she was like, "You see that, boys?" And I was like, "See what?" She's all staring out in the trees, and it was like, I was like, "What? Is she stoned or something? Is she on
Oh
something?"
God.
Like we're just, but so she's like, "Look up." Fucking, I swear, I saw the monarch migration, anything like it, and you look up and like, you're like, and then you just see in the light, you just see. It was honestly a surreal thing. Like you see a butterfly
Yeah.
fly. To see like 500, 10,000.
I've seen them online, and I was literally gonna go on a road trip there, and I planned it out.
October.
Yeah, I planned it out and everything. I already had it like mapped out,
It's
like where
beautiful.
we're gonna go and
West
everything.
Cliff and Santa Cruz. I know exact shit. I'll take you out there. I know exactly where it's at. I've been there. I've
Last
experienced.
minute,
It's great. And see, I
so
didn't
good.
go there knowing that though. See, I was aware of the monarch butterfly migration, but I just was going with my friend because I was actually West Cliff's just a very common hangout spot in Santa Cruz. We just go there on to hang out. You got all the benches, watch the surfers, smoke, do whatever. Just live the Santa Cruz life. But that's just, there's so many different movies about that part of Central California. You got Big Sur, Monterey. It's out there. I lived there for about 6 years. I was very fortunate in Santa Cruz. Yeah, I lived there for 6 years. I was very lucky. I pretty much, when I was 17, 18, graduated and was like, fuck, my friend's going there. I'm going to go check it out. And then I just never left. I just never left. And, I really give a lot of credit to Santa Cruz for making me who I am. Taught me a lot about being an adult and whatnot. There's so many beautiful things I miss about it. But the only thing I don't miss about it is just the lifestyle. It's just if you don't live there, and you come as a tourist, you don't see the cons of the area,
Yeah.
So it's a great place, but there's so much that, can really ruin a person. So, I mean, LA, we have all our dangers, but Santa Cruz is so unique in its own way. So, piece of advice, if you go to Santa Cruz for the weekend, make sure you leave. Because
Make sure you.
I did not do that, and pretty much, shit happens. PvP is PvP. We like to paint bigger pictures. We're out here right now in Naomi, and we're having a great conversation. I think we're at a halfway point right now. About a halfway point right now, and we're coming in here. So how are you? I gotta ask this. So with the exhibit,
Yes.
I know you're associated with Nancy and everything. How did you and Nancy meet? Did you go to school together?
Me and Nancy met in a gallery.
Oh, okay.
Gallery assistant or gallery curation class in college. So
Because
me
she
and
has her
yeah.
she has her graphic design degree. She actually redid my logos for me. She centered them. She said whoever did it before was not very good, and I was like,
yeah.
That's why I was like, well, I got you, so that's why. Yeah.
No, me and Nancy have been putting that was our first time putting art shows together for the galleries at Santa Ana College, and that's a tour building, and so as part of the class we put shows by doing work around the galleries, paint.
How long ago was this?
Oh my god. A long time. I would say
because you guys
at
are the same age,
6 years.
right?
She's a year older than me.
Okay, for sure. So you
Yeah,
guys,
I would say at least
17, 18. Longer.
I think I might know Nancy already for 10 years.
So 2013, 2014. Like you guys.
I graduated from high school 13, so it has to be 2014, 15. So it's been a long time. I've known Nancy.
Yeah, because I was always curious because you guys are always just buddy. I was like, there's got to be some backstory here.
Yeah, it's just ideas, and then made it happen. We started creating a show in a sex shop in downtown Santa Ana.
There you go.
So there is a sex shop that was because of the pandemic and everything, it was shutting down.
I mean, you could get a venue. I mean, it don't matter where it's at.
It was
right?
shutting down, and we told the owner, you know what, we'll put on a show for you, a gallery show for you. That way people can come in and buy stuff or whatever.
Yeah, they're like, let's go check out the adult section.
Yeah, and then so we together, and we had, I think, like 3 shows there, and then another. That was like our
Definitely.
first one where we literally went out and created this, brought the community together, and since then we've been like showcasing not just artwork, but artwork that is not stereotypically in galleries, because it's maybe a little more edgy, a little more punk, or a little bit more risque or whatever.
Yeah.
So yeah.
That's dope though. So I mean, but you guys went out of your creative, like you went to your creative realm and you're like, we see an opportunity. We're gonna go after that. And I mean, it's like that's awesome though, because I mean, now you guys do an amazing job. I mean, every time I come out, I always look forward. The first thing before I even say anything, I'm like, okay, how's the art setup? You know, who's out here? But you guys did the Hands Up Gallery did well. But the last one, the unfinished one, that I think that was
That
legit.
was
That was fun. One piece. The name of the taken a bunch of men's health magazines and I did paper mache on a canvas. What? Oh. Yeah, we got to readjust here. So, oh, we got a makeup technical difficulty.
no, I mean like a hair like my ex.
Oh yeah, that happened to
Yeah,
me the other.
like-
You know what? The only thing I don't like about glasses is when your hair get caught up in there, and
Yeah,
then you
that's
got
what
like.
happened right now. That's why I was like,
You, like,
bro,
rip
I
it
see
out.
something right here, but I.
Well, I've been better at keeping the hair a little bit more like.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I know when I'm getting hair caught up, I'm time for a haircut. That's my new thing now because I hate it because it doesn't hurt, but I don't like ripping my hair out of my scalp.
Oh yeah.
I don't think anybody does, and if you do,
What were we talking about? I already we got off.
the painting. Yeah, my painting.
Oh yeah. So okay.
Yeah, so yeah, no, we're good. So my painting, I took a bunch of bunch of men's health magazines. We were cleaning out my house and pretty much getting rid of the final because my father-in-law has passed away. R.I.P. Robert, miss you, buddy. We were cleaning out the rest of just like his, little man cave, and he used to subscribe to like any masculine man magazine, 4-wheel parts, fucking outdoors hunting, all the stuff you just guy. So I just got this idea, and they were gonna throw them out. Like, you know what? I'm just gonna fucking flip through a few of these. It was raining. I was like, I think I was just in a mood. It was just a mood. And I was like, man, I'm gonna do paper mache. Yeah. I was just like, because I didn't want to pour. I didn't want to paint oil. I was like, I just want to make a mess right now. I was like, fuck. So I made my own paper mache batter with fucking flour and let it.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah, and let it sit in the fridge, and that's what that's made out of. That paste is made out of water and flour that I let get chunky, and then I think I added found some recipe online, DIY paper mache, and then I got like all these different things, and in the center of it, there's just a little message. If you read it down, like it's like problems of a man, and then I end it with white is hardly working. Hardly, but but whatever, that was I like that. And you know what's actually crazy is when I interviewed Nancy in her episode, that's when she invited me out to that show, and I had that piece in my old garage studio setup, and she was like, oh, that would be perfect right there. Oh. And so that was like, because she was talking, it was just, so that's how I got in. That's what brought me out to being here that night too. I just remember that I actually had an art piece here at the fucking show, which is crazy. Wow, small. Right?
You forgot about that?
I got so much going on right now. I mean, that's why I even too like with when I host the shows, everyone's like, "Come on, rap, sing." I'm like, I can only do so much. I
can only do one at a time.
Yeah, I mean, so I'll maybe do the freestyle or whatever, but I'm just like, I am getting good advice. Pick one. I mean, how many times have you gotten overwhelmed from too many projects?
I think putting the show together.
Yeah.
It takes a lot of effort and a lot of time.
Yeah.
So most of the time, other people would put stuff. They would just show up like the day of, and then just be like, "Here's a nail. Here's a hammer. Do your thing," and then. And we were like, no, that's not what we want to do. So when we started doing this here, well, me and Nancy did a touch of everything. but what we do is that we collaborate on like the pieces that we want to show and how we want to and stuff.
Yeah.
And then I'm the one that does all the does all the math and does all the measuring and does all like all that stuff to like get them to where they need to be.
All right, and we're back after a little intermission break here out here at the Hot 16's podcast. We got a little bike crew. We resolved the issue, but we're good here. We're back here, so we're going to pick up on this conversation. So we were talking about your studio and how you and Nancy were pretty much curating shows and how you guys met. So then that was going to lead into, how did you guys get involved with Will? Did he find you?
So with Will, before this, it was in kind of like storage facilities, kind of, where he started having shows. And then we started incorporating art into it. So Nancy kind of was the one that kind of took the lead on that, and then we part of it. And she kind of said like we want to have kind of start making shows again, like how we did before. And we started by showing a little bit of our art, and then Will got like wood panels, and we started showing a little bit more art, and then that's when we moved here. And that's when I was like full, my education kind of like kicked into gear, where I already kind of knew like how to hang things, like how to like set them properly and all of this and that. And this wall right here is concrete. So the first couple of shows, it was kind of a little bit of a struggle because it wasn't really so much of where we wanted things to go.
How were you going to hang them?
Yeah. It was literally like, what can you do?
What did you guys do? The back, these are concrete.
So this wall right here, this one is concrete. So you can't drill holes into it. You can't hang anything. So what we started doing was we got like a huge piece, kind of leaned it up, and that worked perfectly. But then the other side, it was, what you could do is have like it kind of Velcro, and then they go in the back of the canvas. But they do not work all the time, and it's only if the paintings are really, really light. Otherwise, they fall down. Tapcons. That's such a weird.
Yeah. We got a contract or two behind the camera. So
yeah, and it was just, they just don't work unless it's a really, really light canvas. And then so Will hung he drilled a piece of wood up there. So then what we did, we would get the biggest piece of the whole exhibition, and whatever fit there, then that's what fit there. And then we worked everything else around it. And then our last show, I think, my husband got like an industrial machine that kind of like you could drill into concrete. Yeah. So yeah, like he came and he was just like boom, and he did one screw here and one screw at the end of that hall, and that's it.
That's all y'all needed.
That's it.
Hey, well, you have that.
Yeah. So now when Hands Up came, now it was super easy. It was like, hey, this one's here.
Well, that's why you guys were here. You and Nancy were like, we're going to deal with the pain so pretty much everyone else can strive. But that's awesome, though. I mean, that's pretty cool. So what was what was with Will? So how did you guys get to meeting him? I don't know if you answered that question.
So at the other.
So was he coming out and like seeking out events?
Actually, I met him through Nancy.
Okay.
And when she said, hey, kind of wants to have a little bit more of art incorporated in the shows, since me and Nancy already have the history of like, making art shows together. So she already knew like we make a good team, and like we complement each other. So whatever she knows, I don't have to do, and then whatever she doesn't know how to do, I have to do. So stuff like that.
Well, you guys motivate each other. Well, that works out too, because like, see, with having a partner, I used to have a little small team. They helped me out a lot, but then I realized far and really quick is like you don't need a lot of people to a lot of great stuff, and having a group of great minds instead of a lot of minds will work out better. Yeah, I learned that really quick, because then you get a lot of mixed emotions, because then you feel like ideas aren't getting heard. Oh yeah. So with that, have you ever had any trouble with like people or like curators or anything?
Well, before it was me, Nancy, and then we had other two friends that also helped.
What happened there?
Friend, just like you said, like some stuff happened, like
some stuff it just doesn't work. Yeah,
but that, like I said, it like life lesson, our feeling, whatever. But I think that like definitely when you're gonna put shows together, when
Mm-hmm.
you're gonna charge of things, like
Mm-hmm.
you have to kind of see like what you want to do
Mm-hmm.
and what the other person wants. So
Yes.
you have to make sure that like what you have to do, you're actually good at doing it
Mm-hmm.
and you want to do it. Because like I said, so like Nancy, she's the one that like communicates with Will, and then she artists and makes like a whole like document and puts all the artists and then tells them to put their name or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And versus me, when we get here,
Yeah.
like brainstorm on how to arrange things, but when it's actually time to like do the measurements and everything,
Yeah.
I'm here like on paper, like scribbling like a mad woman, doing all the math, and Nancy's like, "Here's the hammer, here's the nail," and
Yeah.
I'm just like, yeah, and I'm
It just
going,
clicked, like your guys'
yeah.
whole vision and energy clicked. That's
Yeah.
really cool. Like I've always been curious. See, that's why these podcasts I can like bring like certain walks of life like out of people, and like I can learn so much because there's questions that need to get answered. And with that, like, the best part about this is asking questions. Like, because I feel like when I meet a lot of you guys in time, I don't get to ask the questions I want to ask.
Oh, what would you like to ask?
Well, no, just like, like what is like what is your goal with your art? Like what are you trying to do with your art? Because I feel like every time I see you, you're always running around trying to set up something like, oh, I don't want to bombard her, but like that's like today, we're finally getting to sit down and I get to talk to get to know Naomi for who Naomi is and what she's into and what she has going on. Like I didn't know you had that studio in Santa Ana. I didn't know that, you were born in Michoacan. So there's so many little things I even learned from today in just what it's been about 45 minutes almost. So what is your purpose with your art?
I think that some people maybe make art because it's fun or because it's a hobby or a distraction, whenever they get the chance. And you get like certain people who like have to make art, and I feel like that was like a kid at some way or other. I've always had to like release that creative outlet one way or the other. It doesn't matter what medium it is, it doesn't matter what it is, but it's something that I have to do. So in order for me to just be like more authentically myself and just be more comfortable in who I am, it's not an option if I want to or don't want to. I have to. Like if I literally go for like a long time without creating art or like doing what I love or doing whatever, it just kind of like sucks the life out of you.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that especially when I first started working, 18 years old, 19 years old, you just work and you just kind of like do whatever you can to get that paycheck, because I had to put myself through college. So obviously I had to like pay all those bills, $300 textbook, all of that stuff.
Fuck those textbooks.
Yeah,
I only did
right?
1 year of fucking junior college, and I just remember like I'd gotten scholarship money, right? I'd gotten like $2,000. I was like, oh, that should cover a semester. I straight up spent like half of it on books. I was like, wait, I haven't even started school yet.
Yeah.
And I actually had to end up getting more money in the payday loans. I remember I was getting those throughout the whole fucking my semester. And then I did tell myself with college, I was like, you know what? Because I know I'm a smart enough individual, I can put myself in a better situation.
Yeah.
And did you ever have those moments?
Yeah. So like I think sometimes you have to choose whether you want more money or you want more time to, and it's not always like you can do both. Sometimes you could have to choose one or the other. And I think for like the first like 6 years or so, I was choosing obviously to get money because I had bills to pay, so it was like I either have this chance to make art or I have to go work, and I'm always working, or if I'm not working, I'm at school. If I'm not at school, I'm doing homework and all this and that, but I had zero time for my.
Yeah, definitely.
So once I got the chance, I think the last like 2.5, 3 years, I've been really lucky to have the opportunity to run free and make art and whatever I want.
Yeah, definitely.
Obviously, you still have to make money because I still have bills.
Yeah,
I still have bills to pay, but
All right. Okay. So with also that being said too, that was like with my art. I was just kind of always like, how do I express myself? Like, do you ever feel that way? Like with each piece, do you feel like each piece is gonna find that certain person?
I feel like like sometimes I make art. If it's just like cutesy stuff that I want to make because it's fun, then that's just what it is. And that type of art has its own purpose. It's art just for the sake of it being beautiful. It's completely okay. Like your art doesn't always have to have like a super deep meaning behind every single piece.
Yeah.
You know? But that's what I separate that art as like a way to like free myself, express myself versus the art that I do that I used to like speak about political issues or speak about things that are important to me. So if I put something in that has like a really strong concept that I think it all out and put everything through and have an artist statement and I write exactly what I want and what I want people to understand and things like that.
Yeah.
As soon as people read that and they see my art and they say, "Oh wow, like I see it," then my job is done. You know, you see like, okay, perfect. These people got exactly what I was trying to say, or they at least got a sense of what I was trying to say.
Yeah.
And that's all that matters.
Yeah, that's what matters to me too. And like I'm so energetic about my pieces. Does every piece have a story?
Yeah.
That's how I am. Like I always like to tell every story about every detail about my pieces. People are like, well, "Damn, you got them all like ready to go." Like you don't have to think about it. You're just like, whoop, and go over. And I think that's what makes my art like so
personal to you.
Yeah, because I'm able to tell such a very like worked up, put together story, you know, and that's what I love the most about it is it's just a story. And art is subjective too.
Oh yeah.
There's no mistakes in art. Like, you know, really think about it. And do you have any pieces that you think you fucked up on, but actually ended up being like one of the better pieces?
I think that there's some pieces that turned out differently than I expected. Or that I initially like just completely them up and they just terrible. And then I had to like re-scrap the whole concept and keep the same idea, but like have the like different. Like the piece that I've had here that's like my favorite piece is the one where I'm like floating with the cactus in my hand.
Yeah.
I tried that the first time in the poppy field in Lancaster.
Yeah.
And it was super windy. So there I am like fully dressed in my indigenous outfit from Michoacan. And I'm like hustling up these freaking hills in the poppy fields and it's super windy and super cold. I have like a bunch of tortillas in my hands that I need to carry with me. And then I set them all up and I put the tortillas in front and I'm going to take the picture. And then it's so windy, the tortillas are flying everywhere. And I have the cactus in my hand.
I can only imagine you holding a stack of tortillas and then they're just like.
Yeah, like it was a disaster. And mind you, it was like a 2.5 hour drive there and another 2.5 hour drive back. It was like a whole day and
5 hours of driving, and it was just a terrible experience. You got hit.
The pictures were horrible. There was nothing salvageable about them. I literally looked at them and I'm like, "This is not gonna work," and I gave up. And I completely
the effort that was what mattered.
Oh yeah.
And with that project, what did it teach you?
I think that the whole semester, like it was like the senior project basically in college. Yeah. So it's really important because it's like part of your BFA. And the whole time, I think everybody in my class and my professors were like, "Where are you going with this? Like, we're lost. Like, what are you trying to do? What are you trying to?" And every time we would have like a meeting, basically you'd have to like show what you were working on until that point. Everybody always looked at me like, "What the fuck is she doing?
What is this
like,
garbage?"
Yeah. And then it wasn't until like literally the day of the presentation where like I presented everything that everybody was like, "Oh wow, like this is not what I thought you were gonna turn." Wow, I really love. My teacher was like super impressed. He was like, "Where did you get this from? Like, I didn't know that this was gonna be like your final thing because I'm gonna be completely 100%." Like up to that point, everybody was like, "What the fuck are you doing?" Even the teacher was looking at me like, "Yeah, like girl, this
what are you doing?"
Like shit.
Yeah,
because I showed them. They're like, "What are you working on?" I showed them the pictures. I think of Lancaster, and I'm like, "Well, this is what I tried to do, and it didn't work." And they were like, "Yeah, you're right, it didn't work."
I know that. I mean,
it was bad.
I've never been into photography like that, so I don't really know. So, I mean, we'll leave it at that. But guys, we're out here. We've been having a great conversation. We're out here with Nohemi. She curates a lot of pretty much, you do every art walk, right? I mean, so we have the next one coming up. here in April, and we have another one in May, June, etc., etc. And do you guys have all your themes planned out? Like, are you already thinking ahead, or are you just kind of taking a month at a time?
I think well, where Will comes in, he lets me and Nancy just run free with everything. So we choose like how we want to display it and what art gets in and what art doesn't get in. But as far as the theme goes, like our only rule is basically it has to fit the theme, and that's it.
Okay.
It could be any medium, any type of thing. It could be professional artists, it could be big artists, and we'll accept a little bit of both.
Yeah.
Like everybody is welcome.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely.
But it has to fit the theme. That's like the only rule.
The one exhibit I was in, I think it was the first one you got or you did in September last year. I mean, there was literally all walks of prices in that. There was that one for like $500,000. Oh, yeah. That Beatles piece.
Ooh, I was scared. I was scared to like.
I was like, when I looked at that, I was like, yo. Yeah. Like, I got my little $250 like painting on the wall. I was like, oh, okay. I've been galleried with a $500,000 artist before. I mean, it's pretty much, how it goes. But is there anybody that you want to shout out though in your art journey and your journey and just your everyday life?
Art journey? Oh my
God. Who are some of your biggest like people that, helped you get to where you're at and like really you want to give thanks to?
Well, first off, obviously Will, because he's the one that lets us.
All of us be creative.
Yeah, like he basically like lets me run wild and just, and obviously Nancy, because she's like my partner in crime.
Yeah, so, you two are just like.
Yeah, so like we get things done. Like if she's like, hey, we're going to put this together and then we'll just like come here and however long it takes, we'll do it, know. And then we'll just put everything together. We'll put on these great shows and we'll talk to a lot of artists and all that stuff for the community and stuff like that. But yeah, and then obviously like my husband, he's amazing. He's
awesome.
Like, lets me
be yourself.
Yeah, and then he like again.
Shout out to your husband though. What was that called? What was the tool that you used cyanide to get in the concrete? Hammer drill. Shout out to your husband's hammer drill.
With the hammer drill, and then Will was like, "Hey, can you do the one in the hallway too? Like, I got you here. Let me just do one more." So we're like, "Of course." My husband just with a huge ass, hammer drill.
Say hello to my little friend.
Yeah. So of course, so anything I can do, like anything like installation wise, I'll do. But if anything's like out of my control, I already know like, hey babe, like I need to hang this piece and I don't know how to do it. Like, what would you recommend I do? Or he'll come and help me. Definitely. If it's something that's like the Beatles piece, that was just like humongous.
What was the size of that canvas?
It was like
48 by something, right?
I don't know. It was like 10 feet by like 6 feet or 5 feet or something. It was just ridiculously huge. And I was like, I've never hung anything this heavy in my life, know, and I couldn't even pick it up. So it's like we have to like all, No,
I definitely was very taken back. I think I was looking at it right here or right there. Yeah, I don't know. That was wild. That piece was wild. What artist was that?
I would need to look it up. You can put it on your link little thing.
Yeah, we'll put some links. Don't worry. We'll get the exhibit links and everything because doesn't guys, you have the artist's pieces on the website so people can look at it to potentially buy, right? Or there?
I think
you got them on display, right?
On Instagram, I think that Will had displays them on Instagram.
Yeah, because I know definitely too. I think everyone's pretty fair too. I like to look and see what people think their art is worth because I always like not try to compare, but I'm like, okay, like all right, I see that. Or so there are some. I mean, the $500,000 piece. I mean. I'm still trying to understand what makes it worth $500,000, but it's their value.
Yeah, but also just the amount of money it takes just for the frame.
Oh, that one.
Oh my God.
Isn't that like a couple grand for that one?
Just for the frame alone. That's why sometimes people are like, why is this so expensive? And I'm like, okay, just the frame alone. If you go to a place and say, hey, I want this framed, and it's like the biggest piece I have, which is the one voting. If I were to go to a store in like Michael's or wherever and say, hey, I would like this framed, can you make this frame for me and custom frame? That frame will be no less than $500.
Yeah,
and on the cheaper side with the cheaper glass, no less than $500.
Yeah, I wanted to do a 48 by 96 foot, 96 inch canvas. I wanted to do a pour, and the person at the art store was like, yeah, you're pretty much just paying for the frame. Well, the canvas board is inexpensive. That takes nothing to make.
Yeah.
But the framing and the customization and all that, it goes to a wood shop, then it gets shipped, and then it has to go to another warehouse. It gets wrapped, it gets stapled. That's where people forget logistics in anything.
It's crazy expensive.
Art's I remember 20 years ago, my mom, she's a very amazing artist, but she stopped doing art 20 years ago because she couldn't afford it. And she'd been doing it her whole life. We just got her back into it. We got her some pastel kits and some painting kits, and she's been doing some stuff, but she just, she's like, I can't do this anymore. And she understands my frustration when I'm like, man, I fucked up a canvas. She's like, oh, like, I know how you feel, because even one's really $4 or $5. It's like, okay, that's fair, but it should be worth $1 or $2. Something that small, But that's how the art industry is.
Yeah, I think when you have something that big, it's literally better just to buy the material, go to YouTube, like literally go obsessive until you figure out how to do it yourself. If you would try to pay for someone to do it, again, it would be like, okay, just a canvas to get you going is gonna be like $500-$600, and you're like, $600 before I even
brushes,
do anything.
Time, easels, like color, like where you mix your colors, like it's crazy. I just keep to pour, put it in a cup and pour it. That's my shit. It's still expensive though, and it's a cheaper medium of art for sure.
Yeah.
But we are coming onto our hour here. So Nohemi, are there any other people you would like to shout out before we wrap up today's episode?
I think a lot of my professors like a big impact. In college, Phil Marquez, he the art department there. He was like supportive, and he also let me just like run wild as well. And then in college, like I said, I already shout out to Bryce. And I had other few professors there that were just like really Rebecca. I want to like forget their names, and then I want to be like, oh shit, I didn't.
No, you're good. I mean, you just shout out everybody, in your art.
Oh god, no. Yeah, but mostly most of my teachers that like kind of helped me sort of way towards art.
Yeah, definitely. And do you want to go ahead and drop your Instagram handles or anything so people can find your art?
Yeah, my Instagram is NOHMI, then the dot, then the underscore, then the dot again, and then ROMOS.
Cool.
RAMOS.
And that's where you're most active on the social media?
I am. I'm terrible.
I mean, you do okay communicating with me. I mean, I know I'm involved with what you got going on, but I mean, it's still, it's all a process here.
I have like
We're all
1,000 art pieces, and I post like 2. I'm just like, oh my God.
You know what? That's how it is, though. I got a bunch of music that I have, and I don't post. So, I mean, it's the same thing. Art, music,
Get it out. Yeah.
I'll get it out eventually. We're working on it. But guys, it's been a great time here. This is PBP. We're checking in here. We had Nohemi out on the show. Thank you for giving me an hour of your time. I got to learn a little bit more today about Nohemi here at the Exhibit Art and Fashion Gallery down here in downtown Fullerton. We're super thankful to have her come out today. We learned a lot about her, and stay tuned. We have another list of amazing, great guests coming up, and we are so thankful that you guys are staying tuned with us, and we hope you're enjoying the YouTube version of Hot 16's. This is our first season with the video. We also have our audio available on 17 other streaming platforms, and make sure you subscribe. We're on Stitch, Apple Music, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Amazon Prime, you name it. Hot 16, everything, literally.
I saw that.
We're on iHeartRadio. We're literally on every podcast streaming form for audio, and you can get our video exclusively on Spotify and YouTube. Guys, it's been a pleasure. I'm PvP. I'm going to check out here. Until next time.